The next part to make is the blade. So we're going to make that as a folded sheet metal part. So for this operation we're not going to actually create the part within that assembly because it creates too many issues with constraints. So what we're going to do is hit the iPro tab and create a new metric sheet metal millimeter IPT. Create. So if we right click and create a new sketch, select a plane, and then we're going to create a rectangle. So right click, 2-point rectangle, drag that out, right click, general dimension. Now from left to right we're going to dimension that as 233 minus 8. And from top to bottom the dimension will be 150. Okay, we can finish that sketch. That gives us a rough sketch to put our plate on. Now what we need to do with sheet metal parts is create the thickness of the material and the bend rules. So if we go into sheet metal defaults up on our toolbar, and we're not going to use the default millimeters, we're actually going to turn that off and set our own thickness, which will be 2 millimeters, and hit apply. And then we can close that tab. Then we're going to use the face tool to define the face for us. So because this is the only sketch, it's going to automatically select those parameters. We'll hit apply. We'll close that. So now we have a 2 millimeter thick sheet of metal to fold. What we're going to do is put a point on there. So if we go into our 3D model tool, we can actually use the chamfer tool, and we're going to select this edge and this edge, and our chamfer distance we can put in as a function, which is 150 divided by 2. And tick that. That'll cut our chamfers evenly. Now we need to create some sketches for our folds. So right click, new sketch on this surface, and we're going to project the geometry of that surface, and we're going to right click, create a line from the right hand side across to the left side, and repeat that, and then we're going to right click and add our dimension from our fold line to the top edge is 29, and same for the bottom one. And then we can finish that sketch. Okay, go back to our sheet metal tools. Now we're not actually using bend because that creates a bend between two parts. We're going to use fold, and we're going to select this bend line, and you can see that it wants to bend up. So we're actually going to change our fold location to the start of bend, and we're going to change the fold direction. We can also toggle that one there, so that we're going to bend in that direction, so that's folding up in that direction. Now our fold angle is 25 degrees, so we'll input that data and hit apply, and that puts a nice neat fold in there for us, and we can close that. Now we still need to fold this side. You'll see that the sketch has disappeared. So if we go back to our fold, we can see that our sketch is still there, but it's not visible. So we can right click and turn the visibility back on, That gives us our sketch, and we're going to repeat that process. We'll use our fold tool. We're going to select the bend line, and it's actually selected for us the correct bend. So we put our fold angle. We want to change our fold location to the start of bend and hit apply, and that's put our fold in there for us. The next step is to create some flanges on the back. So we're going to spin that around and use our flange tool, and we'll select this top edge, and you'll see it's already put a flange in place for us. Now we're going to select our bend position from the adjacent face. Our direction is good. Our height datum we want to use from the intersection of the two outer faces, which is the correct one. And the height extent, we want to change that one to 8mm. That gives us the correct bend, and we're going to apply that. The flange angle we can also input there, you can change that, but this one we want to be 90 degrees. So we'll apply. We want to repeat that process on that edge. Everything's the same, so we apply and just accept that. And same for this edge. And apply and accept that error. We'll fix that later. So we can close that flange function. Now you can see the error there was because two flanges intersected. So what we have to do is create a rip. So in order to do that, we need a sketch. So right click, and we're going to go new sketch. We're going to put it on that rear face. And we're going to create a line. So we're going to select this point and select this point and do the same on this section. Right click, create line, and finish that sketch. Now if we use our rip tool, we can select our rip face, we can select our start point and our end point, and that will create a rip for us. And our gap size, it's going to create a 2mm. We can go in and modify that and make that 1 and hit apply. Don't worry about that error. Okay, we can go back in here. We can edit that sketch again to give us our visibility. So we just turn our visibility on, and then we're going to use our rip tool again. And we're going to go point to point. This is our rip face. This is our start point. This is our end point. And we're going to again assign a 1mm gap size and hit apply. And close that function. So now we have some rips in the back so that we can create a flat pattern. Just going to hit the Home tab, spin that around. Now it's important before you exit here to actually create the flat pattern. So we use the Create Flat Pattern tool. That will fold the object out for us, giving us all our fold lines. Now if you try to save here, we'll call that blade, capitals, and hit save. Now it won't let you save in a flat pattern, so just agree with that. But it will save the flat pattern for us. So that's our blade built, ready to go.